Well, hello again, friends and family. So good to see you again on this Sunday in August. I think it's August 8th. And I got a treat for you. It's going to be a little trip. And in a way, we're going to go back in time. No, a time in my life when I started a journey. It was, you might say, an intensive journey to prepare for all things possible. And I'm taking y'all along because it is a super secret location. It's not here at the house. And that's something, I want to stress. It's not here. And I do apologize that y'all can't be taking in the sights while we go there. In fact, those of you riding along will have to be blindfolded. I know that may be inconvenient. And you might think, well, Miss Tom, you can trust us. Well, yeah. I'd like to think I could trust everybody here in our community. But I also am a scholar of human nature. When the crap hits the ground, people change. Not always for the best. So, hey, let me get you all blindfolded up. And let's take a ride. And we'll chat a little while we're up there. And then, of course, you get blindfolded again on the way back. And we'll sit here on the front porch, have a cold drink, and talk a little bit more. Okay? Yep, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. But now, we got to get you all blindfolded up. Well, hello, friends and family. We're up here at a secondary location that I keep. And I'm checking inventory today. And I wanted to share it with you. Not to brag or not to show everybody, what I have on hand, because Lord knows this ain't all of it. This is just some. It's something I don't keep at the house. There's plenty at the house. But what I want to talk about is not only that, Mr. Tom, he's been preparing quite a long time. And here in my secondary location, I've got all kinds of things. I'd have to look in my inventory. And I mean right here, you can probably see it. Honeybill, freeze-dried peas. Yep. 6 cases. That's 6 number 110 cans. Underneath that, something I can't even read. But each one of these are full cases. Here's a case of 6 number 10 cans of potato flakes. Yeah. Some of these boxes aren't turned where I can see them. And that. But here's an important date. 2009. Yep. I started buying long term, i.e. freeze dried and dehydrated and commercially prepared number 10 cans. I think actually in 2008, but in earnest in 2009, rather than put my money into wet pack foods, kind of food you see in processed food, boxed foods that everybody now for the last 2 years been buying up like crazy. I decided to go ahead, and as I had money available while I was working, and I worked a lot of hours, a lot of overtime, this is what I got. You can see it all here. It's from places like Honeybill, Mountain House, Shelf Reliance, Emergency Essentials. Oh, and there's stacks of it in here, and stacks. Now, yeah, I didn't show you coming over here where this place is at, because currently there's only 3 people alive that know where it's at. And this is what I got when I was preparing to feed my family. Myself, my daughter, my grandson, and my son. You know. And like I say, it's only part of it. And the important part is it's not kept at the house. It's kept at a secondary location. And that's extremely important. You know, goes back to that old saying, don't put your eggs all in one basket. And there's a can from Thrive. Let's see, it's got 2 cans of white flour, 1 of potato chunks, 1 of chopped onions, 2 cans of strawberries. And here you can see there's a box of Mountain House freeze dried chili mac would be, bought in 2011. I mean, freeze dried, I don't care what it is. It's got a minimum shelf life of 25 years. There's a box of emergency essentials, purchased 2011. So was this Mountain House. Now, the only reason I'm sharing this, like I say, is not to brag. Oh, there's a case of rice white, long grain. There's another case. Those are 2010. So you can see, old Mr. Tom's been trying to be prepared for a very long time. Way before 2020 and 2021 ever came to be. And it was even more so before, you know, I started into all this. Now, I did buy a little bit more during the 2020 year because I didn't have no clue where everything was going. I had no idea, and nobody did, just how bad it would be. I mean, in my mind, it could be so bad that it was something like I Am Legend, Omega Man, Last Man on Earth, you know. Didn't know. Civilization could have been wiped out in total. If not in total, totally to the fact where all the things we expect to see and buy in our supermarkets, our grocery stores, and our big box stores were no longer available. So that's what this was about, preparing for that. There's a case of Honeybill powdered whole eggs right there, 2016. So you sort of get my idea. Not only do you need to have your preparedness in more than one place to hedge your bets, but you got to think about what your goals are in that. You got to really put your mind to it. Decide on your goals, make a plan, and then work towards that if it's indeed important to you, to where you, your family, don't have to rely on a single other living soul. And here again, that's what this is all about. There's enough here based on my inventory, and you can't see it all, to feed a family of 4 fairly well for a little over a year or more. You know, if you had to ration it, or you could supplement it with local meat, produce, gardens, or hunting and fishing, oh, they go way farther than that. Well, see, now it's just me here in my little small part of South Alabama, and this now represents enough for me for probably 4, 5, 6 years. When you get older, you just don't eat as much. And this is all good stuff. It ain't junk. You know, it's not a bunch of carbs. Yeah, I got my rice. There's beans in here. Yeah. There's salt. There's spices. There's meats. There's meals, entrees. There's all the vegetables. Every single last one of them. As well as all the fruits. Nope, no candy. But I do got sugar. Yep. There's wheat berries in here that can be ground for flour. And if that's how you wish to store, for the best results and for almost infinite storage, wheat berries is the way to go. Now, another thing I'd like to bring up is, yeah, you see all this where, you can get your own buckets, get your own Mylar bags, use a hair thingamajig, I think it's called a flat iron, to seal them up. You can do all that. But every one of these cases, like I say, was processed in a modern, efficient plant. Every one of these cans has been flushed with nitrogen and has an oxygen absorber in it too prior to sealing. If they don't have an oxygen absorber as a plus, they were flushed complete with nitrogen prior to sealing. That's something you can't do at home. You can chunk in an oxygen absorber and hopefully you calculated how many and how big you needed to get out the oxygen. I mean, there's charts and tables out there. The Lord knows every prepper channel, social media probably has done a video how to dump stuff in a Mylar bag, seal it up with a flat iron, and put it in a 5-gallon bucket. Or put it in mason jars, pop bottles, you name it, whatever. But I didn't want to bet my future and the future of my family on what I would call amateur packaging. Now, I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but that was just my thought, my idea. Being a process engineer, and for part of my time during my career being associated with commercial food processing, as an engineer in that industry for, I think it was 8 years or more, I put my faith in the professionals. I won't back off of that. In my idea, nothing out there beats a number 10 can when it comes to long-term food storage. It's what the government does. It's how they stock their bunkers. Trust me, I know that for a fact, and I've seen it. Yeah, I surely have. Yeah, but I don't come up here often because I don't want to leave a trail. And it is climate controlled. So, as long as there's power and there's a grid, it's been kept in about as optimum of storage conditions that it could possibly be. I think the newest of the stuff up here probably is 2016 or 2018. I bet 2016. Because as far as I know, I can't remember putting anything more in there since then. The rest, the food of this type of nature, is kept at the house. And like I said, I do have a third location. We will not be visiting it. We did one time, briefly, in a past video. And when I realized where I was and what I was saying, I cut it all short. So even then during the video, you couldn't tell what it actually was. It just raised a question. So, there's stuff like my old ranch hat. Maybe I should start wearing that on some of my videos. What do y'all think? Anyway, I'm going to load y'all back up in the car here again. You'll have to be blindfolded. So when we get back to the house, gonna get us a cold drink. I want you to add a little bit more about what all this is about. Okay? Now here we are. We're back again on the front porch with a cold drink, and I appreciate y'all just sitting in the grass over there underneath the oak tree. It's pretty cool here under the oak, isn't it? Nice breeze, subtle. And I do apologize. It was blistering hot up there until we got inside our secondary secret location. And like I say, there's only 3 people alive that know exactly where that's at. And that's the way it's got to stay. See, that's my fallback plan. Should things here fall back. You know, people talk about bugging out. Talking about having some kind of bag on their back. And then they're going to go over in the woods somewhere and just start life all over. Now, as a person that's had military survival training several times and seen what the average Joe can do starting out, even with some of the best equipment the world has to offer, I'm here to tell you, chances ain't good. Some will. Oh yeah. Some will make it. Some won't. So in my mind, I bore that in mind. Should I ever have to give up the home place? Hopefully I never will, and I have things in place to help prevent that. Then there's stuff in that location to get me through. And the way I look at what's up there, that type of long-term food storage, that was professionally canned and processed, is the end of the world as we know it. Long-term food storage. Oh yeah. I'm talking if all this goes sideways. You know, like so many believe it's gonna. And unfortunately, all those that believe it's gonna, you know, they ain't nowhere near prepared enough. You know, yeah, they got their gardens. And people got really into that in 2020. And I think it was a good thing. But I'd hate to know how much seed, because, you know, we started having a seed shortage because so many people were buying seeds. And I'm sure many were stocking them up. They had no intention of growing them right away. A lot of people did. You know, they dipped their foot and toe in the gardening water. But I've also seen, you know, some success. I've seen a whole lot of failure. And I've seen a whole lot of money go down in the dirt to no avail. Of course, I sort of figured that's just how that would all turn out. And it's not only been old Miss Tom that said it, but it's been so many others that got big fancy degrees in agriculture and biology and all the other sciences that deal with farming, agricultural production, food production, and said, unless you just got lucky and the spot of ground that you chose is El Primo, your chance of having a successful first year garden is pretty slim. Yeah. Now, of course, I mean, on social media, you know, people look at, you know, their harvest as being super great because they got something. When I'm watching videos of that nature, you know, I know what it costs to farm, to raise animals, to do a garden, with the intent of it saving me money and not costing me one arm and a leg. Yeah. You know, what I say when I watch many of these videos, you know, those are gold-plated vegetables. Yeah. And of course, you know, if I do make a comment like that, people will come back just like they will on this video and go, well, yeah, but anything homegrown is way better than what you can buy in the store. Well, I would tend to disagree with you. Yes, I surely would. Because studies prove what's in the stores is nutritious. Yep. And there are no studies that I can find, somebody has one, that shows homegrown is any better or more nutritious. And please don't tell me about a Brix meter that just checks sugar level. Come on. I'm a little smarter than that. But anyway, gardening's a good thing. Getting you some small animals is a good thing. But my problem with small animals is should those end of times days come, how are you going to feed them? Where are you going to get that organic feed? Or that regular feed for that matter? Because I'm telling you folks, you cannot imagine how much land, how much time you're going to have to invest to plant, harvest, and process enough feed for even a few chickens, let alone a flock of chickens, pigs, cows, goats. There ain't a goat out there that can just survive out on the land unless he's got open range. Yeah, I mean, that's a fact. I mean, everybody I know on YouTube, and Lord knows, is meant, I must follow some 200 something channels at times that I see. Yeah, they throwing that feed out there. They surely are. And, hey, if that's what they want to do, it's fine by me. Is the meat better? Well, I guess so. If you're feeding all organic and, you're all worried about GMOs and all that. I personally am not. That's just me. And I have a right to those opinions. Just like anybody who watches this video and gives us a thumb down also has a right to theirs. But in prepping, or preparing as I've always referred to it, I looked at worst case scenario. What would happen to my family if indeed the end of all times happened? And you didn't have to worry about Walmart having some bear shells, but being closed. Targets being closed. Publix being closed. Safeway, H-E-B, Food Town, Superfoods. List goes on and on and on. You see, what I have up there in number 10 cans, professionally packaged, sealed, and processed, is for those end of all times. And my children know. And we just had a discussion not too long ago, primarily with my son and my daughter. Don't sell the food. Of course, they said, oh no, Daddy, we'd never sell the food. See, they know, because I've educated them. Both my children and my grandson. They know that'll well be good and edible long past the 15 to 25 year best buy date that's on it. In fact, if you want to see that, you go over to the Alaska Prepper. That's Rudy. He did a video where he ate and prepared recipes with same types of foods. They weren't even freeze-dried. I think they were dehydrated. That had been sitting in a guy's garage for over 40 years. Not only did they look fine, smell fine, and taste fine, they were perfectly fine. Now, granted, there'll be some nutritional loss. That's proven. You can find studies on that from universities, not social media platforms. So that's what all that is about. And the reason I wanted to bring y'all along on the ride, even though I didn't allow you to see on the way over, or on the way back for all that matters, is because it's secret. And should you choose to not put all your eggs in one basket, which is my best advice to you, then that secondary location should be secret to only you and those you trust within your family. And I can't express that enough, who you trust in your family. Yeah. I don't care how much we say we love our families. Even I know there's people in my family I can't trust. And God knows most of my friends I can't. In fact, currently, like I say, there's only 3 other people in the world that know that one place. But then there's a third place, because in the prepping world, they come up with this here saying, or they think they did. It's been around a long time. 1 is none, 2 is 1, and 3 is 2. That's one of them rules of being, a prepper. So whether you have, one location like your home, you can easily be forced out of it, or possibly. Then you got to fall back to your secondary location. But if all you got is that bug out bag, you in deep hooky, as my daddy would say. But if you've got everything in place, which just so happens to be up in that area, you saw other boxes and stuff up there, then you're set up to give it a go again. And then, should that location become compromised, or your supply depot, that's sort of what I refer to that, end of time supply depot, become compromised, then there's a third location. Now, no, even blindfolded, no, I won't, no. Because, and why is that? And why doesn't even my family know about it? Well, the third location, I personally don't own the land. I personally don't own all of what's there. Or did I personally pay to build this structure? I didn't. This was built back in a different time in America, during the height of the Cold War, when they weren't worried so much about economic collapse. They weren't worried about climate change, global warming, ice age, grand solar minimum, all that. Yeah, they were worried about a new thing: atomic Armageddon, total nuclear war, mutual destruction. And the facility that is my third location, I used to share with other individuals. In fact, I was actually invited in, because like I say, that facility was actually built, if you want to call it, it was built inside an existing feature in the ridge, i.e. being a mine. Yes, it was. And it's in solid granite and quartz. Yeah, it is underground. And it is super cool. It's dry. It's cool all the time. And there were individuals that had built it back when they were younger and had families. And they had it supplied to some degree with similar to what you see in my secondary location. Yeah. Everything in number 10 cans. A pile of it, because these people had way more money than Mr. Tom ever thought about having. And they just weren't in the state of Alabama. They were in a couple of neighboring states as well. You might say they were well heeled. Yeah, just on the amount of property it's on. You gotta have some money. Trust me, especially where it's at. Property wasn't cheap then, and it darn sure ain't cheap now. But they were worried about them and their families being just vaporized. So they wanted some place where they could evac to and be set up to live through what was going to be the period after the fallout and beyond for a certain period of time. I got invited in because many of them got too old to keep track of it. Yep, their health started failing. Many didn't have kids. Or if they did, they didn't trust them. Yep, that's sad, but they didn't. They knew me. They had faith in me, or at least they were willing to bet on me. And they put their faith in me and also allowed me a full reign of that particular facility. And yeah, I have stuff over there too. Surely do. Unfortunately now, I'm pretty sure I'm the only last living human being that knows where it's at or what's in it. You might say, well, Mr. Tom, you could die, then what good is it? Well, I'm not saying, should my health start to fail, or that I haven't left something behind so my children might be able to figure it out, because I have. It's like those envelopes. Read this after I die. Yep, don't open till then. This ain't about brag. It ain't about what I got. And I don't want anybody getting mad out there. This was all done way, way before I ever thought about having a YouTube channel. Where these never thought about a pandemic. Wasn't thinking about Cascadia earthquakes, tidal waves. Nope. I wasn't thinking any of that either. I've always, growing up during the Cold War era, I've always had that there uneasy feeling in the back of my head that out of all Armageddon scenarios, that is the one most likely to happen. And I believe it to this day. And oh my God, we as a nation used to be far better prepared with our civil defense shelters fully stocked and all that during the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And like I've said in the previous video, that's all gone now. Hell, most of the buildings have been torn down, the ones that are still here. Yeah, the shelter's still in place, but all the stock is gone, been cleared out. And basically all these areas are now just junk rooms and storage rooms. There's nothing there for you. So, is the government going to take care of you? No. I mean, come on. The government's there just to keep you right at one step below becoming a mob and rioting. Yep. That's fact. And I truly believe that. If you look back through history, that's sort of the sweet spot. Give them enough so they don't form a mob and riot, but don't give them enough where they can be self-sufficient and rise up. It's a balancing act. When you get too much and life's too good, then you get uppy. If it goes to the other side where you're starving and all that, oh, well, here come the mobs and riots too. So the government's always in the game to keep the beam balanced. I hope you put some thought in what I said. And another reason I wanted to take you along, and I am very thankful for everything you all that sent. I mean, there have been so many of you. I mean, some of you actually hired people to go shopping back during we were in the throes of the virus in 2020, and go out shopping because I'd ran out of all fresh and didn't want to go to the grocery store. I was self-isolating, and paid somebody to go shopping for me and have it delivered right here. And she knows who that special person and her two sons are. But she wasn't the only one. People sent me all kinds of stuff, that they enjoyed and wanted to share, or they just wanted to make sure old Mr. Tom and the kitty crew survive. And I am ever so appreciative. So I hope none of you get mad that up until now I haven't showed these things. You know, and I'll never show the inside of the house. That's just, you know, you can see me on the dining room table sometimes. You see my kitchen. If you look closely, it's a little janky, and it's cluttered too. Well, if you think the kitchen's cluttered, well, then you can imagine the rest of the house. And I need to get that squared away too. Maybe y'all's are too, but like I said, I was preparing for the end of all times as we know it. And it could have went that way, and it may still. Things are moving. Who knows? I don't. I'm not going to sit here and tell you. I'm not going to tell you I got a friend or a high government military leader I know, or, you know, I've been sending emails I can't show you, or, you know, I heard, or I just have this feeling something bad going to happen. You know, I've known people all my life that had that feeling something bad was going to happen. All their life till they got hit by a bus. Yeah. Because I'm going to tell you folks, you can have that feeling every day of your life. And eventually, like in all of our lives, something bad will happen. I guess, you know, then you can pat yourself on the back and say, see, I told you. No. I know as soon as I get in that car, I've done the most deadly thing a person can do on the face of the planet. We all know it. And that's get in the car and drive. Yep. And that alone kills more people than have been killed any other way around the globe of any and all means. And we all know that. It's the most dangerous thing you can do for the average person. So like I said again, think about what I said. Think about the context it's in. I am appreciative to everything. I really worry every time somebody sends me something, because I know all of y'all are like me now. See, I didn't buy any of that while I was sitting here on a fixed income retirement between my, you know, my savings income and Social Security and what have you. You know, it's not a lot. As long as I don't go crazy on spending, I have a somewhat comfortable life. But I worry when y'all, you know, take from what you need. And you may have way more missed time. Way more money, way more stuff, way better house. But I still worry about you. And I always will. So that was another reason. I wanted to show you, push come to shove, Mr. Tom and Kitty Crew, we ain't gonna starve. Yep. So, think about it. Think about what you have. Think about whether it's enough. Think about what you're buying. You know, if you're still chunking caseloads and caseloads of canned goods from Walmart, Target, and what have you, all wet packed food, which will last quite some time, as long as it's not acidic. Otherwise, it'll eat through the can faster than you know. I've had some accidents with that. If you're still buying up all this box goods and everything, yeah, you can do that. But it will not last, like what I've shown you and shared with you today. Think about it. Like I said, write down your goals. You know, short term, mid term, long term, the end of the world as we know it. See how you're covered. Then see what you can do about it. And before I leave you, I would like to recommend you always look for deals on Augustin Farms. Yep. A lot of times they have sales, especially on Amazon, where you can pick up cans of similar food for under 20 bucks. Sometimes under 10. But you got to keep a close lookout. And primarily what I did buy in 2020 was from Augustin Farms. I've used it. It's good stuff. I recommend it, and so does Rudy, the Alaska Prepper. Now, if you really want top notch, number 10 food in a can that's out of this world nutritious for you, then go to Rudy and watch his channel and check on that nutrient survival. In fact, Rudy was so kind to send me 2 cans of it so I could try it. Even though it's pricey, a little bit out of my price range. But I am going to try it, and I am going to review it. Now there's a friend. So y'all, I've rambled long enough. I'm not sure how much of this will be on the video. I do hope you're outside enjoying your Sunday with your friends, family, and loved ones, or, as I am, my furry little friends, Spooky, Speedy, Cleo's down at her secondary home. Kids are out and playing, as you may have heard in the background. And if you're not, maybe you'll go out later this afternoon when it gets a little cold, or this evening, and enjoy those night sounds. So until we see you on the next video, y'all take care, stay safe, and God bless each and every one of you as you bless others. Goodbye for now. I think I'll go out and check some tomato and pepper plants. Yep, check some plants. Oh well. Let's eat a handful of blueberries here. The ultimate survival food. Oh yeah. Later all. So yummy. And on August 8th, I still got plenty.